How to rebuild your finances after divorce. Divorce doesn't just split a relationship, it splits a life and often a bank account. You don't just lose a partner, you lose your financial rhythm, your shared plans, your safety net, and suddenly you're standing in a grocery store aisle debating whether you can afford the name brand cereal. It's not about luxury anymore, it's about survival. What people rarely talk about is how deeply money is tied to identity. When the marriage ends, yes, your emotional world cracks open, but so does your financial one. Maybe you were the breadwinner, maybe you weren't. Maybe you had savings, but now half of it is gone. Maybe you were just getting by before, and now even buy feels out of reach. Nobody tells you how fast the math changes. Your rent doesn't get cut in half. Your utilities don't suddenly become sympathetic. Your children still need lunch money, and your future, the one you spent years building, feels like it just got wiped off the whiteboard. Even friends and family trying to help say things like, "You'll bounce back, you'll figure it out." But they don't see the late-night spreadsheets. They don't see the panic when the credit card bill hits. They don't see you Googling how to budget when you're broke at 2 a.m. If this is you, you're not failing. You're facing one of the most financially destabilizing life events a person can experience. And it's not just about numbers, it's about dignity, about fear, about trying to reclaim a sense of control in a world that suddenly feels like it's slipping out of your hands. This is where we start, not with optimism, not with vision boards. With the truth, you're not broken, you're financially overwhelmed, and that's survivable. But you need a new map. Before we talk about rebuilding, we have to talk about what not to build on. Because in the early aftermath of divorce, your nervous system is in survival mode, whether you feel that or not. And survival mode makes dangerous financial decisions feel reasonable. So let's name a few traps people fall into, not because they're stupid, but because they're scared. Trap number 1, revenge spending. Maybe your ex cheated. Maybe they left you with nothing. And now you think, screw it, I deserve something nice. So you buy the couch, the shoes, the trip. And for a moment, it feels good. But emotional justice is expensive and often charged to a credit card you'll regret 6 months later. Trap number 2, financial denial. You avoid the bills, you don't check your bank balance. You refuse to open that envelope from your lawyer. It's understandable. You're emotionally wrecked. You don't want numbers reminding you what's real. But what starts as avoidance becomes chaos. The further you push it away, the more out of control it gets, and then it feels impossible to clean up. Trap number 3, desperation decisions. You move into an apartment you can't really afford. You pull money from your retirement early. You say yes to a predatory loan just to feel safe for a month. These are understandable choices, but they're not sustainable ones, because survival mode math isn't based on long-term thinking, it's based on fear. And fear doesn't care about interest rates or taxes, it just wants the pain to stop. So here's step 0 in rebuilding your finances after divorce. Don't build from panic, don't build from ego, don't build from a need to feel okay right now. Pause, breathe, look at your numbers, not with shame, but with strategy. Before you start trying to fix it, stop making it worse. You are not reckless, you are scared, and you need a plan, not a punishment. Let's assume you're not starting from a polished place. You're not sipping tea with a spreadsheet open, feeling empowered. You're tired, maybe working a job you hate, maybe taking care of kids on your own. And every time you think about money, your chest tightens. Good, that's where real rebuilding begins, because you don't need a 5-year plan right now. You need traction. Here's how to get it even from rock bottom. Step 1, get clear on your actual numbers. This sucks, but you can't skip it. Open the banking app, open the bills, write down what you bring in, what goes out, and what you owe, even if it's terrifying. You don't need to fix it all today, you just need data. When you name the monster, it gets smaller. Step 2, create a survival budget. Forget perfect, forget trying to get everything right. You're not optimizing, you're stabilizing. Ask, what is the absolute minimum you need each month to stay afloat? Rent, food, car, utilities. That's your baseline survival number. Once you have that, you'll stop spinning, because now you're not just guessing. You know the number, you have a target. Even if your income doesn't meet it yet, clarity is power. Step 3. Build a weekly cash flow plan. You probably think in months, but stress lives in weeks. You don't need to know how you'll survive December. You need to know, can I get through this week without overdrafting? Start mapping week by week. Write out what's coming in, what's going out, what's left. Even if it's tight, even if it's $17, seeing it helps your brain feel safer. Step 4. Identify your financial bleeders. These are the tiny recurring charges and auto pays that quietly drain your account. $9.99 here, $14.99 there, $85 gym membership you forgot about. Cancel anything that's not essential. You're not failing. You're adjusting. This isn't about deprivation, it's about stabilizing the ship so you can sail later. If this feels overwhelming, good. It means you're finally looking at what you've been carrying blindfolded. You don't have to do it perfectly. You just have to stop guessing and start tracking. Traction over transformation. That's the real beginning. Let's talk about the three-headed monster: debt, credit, shame. Because for a lot of people, divorce doesn't just leave emotional scars, it leaves a stack of credit card statements, missed payments, and a credit score that looks like a joke. Maybe you had shared debt and now it's all in your name. Maybe you trusted someone else to handle the money and didn't know how bad it was. Or maybe you made desperate choices in the middle of your pain, and now they're following you. The worst part? It's not just the money, it's the shame. You see the number, you feel the weight. But what really wrecks you is the belief that this says something about you. You're bad with money. You should have known better. You let this happen. That internal script does more damage than the debt ever could. Let's reframe it. Debt isn't a character flaw, it's a math problem. Credit isn't morality, it's a system. Shame isn't helping, it's keeping you stuck. So let's look at 3 powerful mindset and strategy shifts. 1. Make peace with where you are. You don't have to like your situation, but you have to own it. No more ignoring balances, no more pretending next month it'll fix itself, no more hiding, write it down, all of it. Make a list of every debt, even the scary ones. You can't change what you won't face. 2. Know that credit can be rebuilt. Your credit score is not a permanent label. It moves, and you can move it. Start with the basics. Pay the minimums on time. Don't open new cards unless necessary. Avoid balance transfers unless you understand the fees. Check your credit report for errors. And if your score is bad, you're not alone. Millions of people rebuild every year, and they didn't have to be perfect to do it. 3. Remove shame from the equation. Every time you look at a bill or log into your bank, pause and say, I am learning. I am not failing. You are not the sum of your debt. You are not the interest rate. You are a person who survived something life-altering. And now you're putting pieces back together. That's not weakness. That's power. Here's the truth. You're not supposed to know how to recover from this. No one taught you. But you're learning now. And that makes you unstoppable. Let's talk about income. The thing that keeps you up at night. For some people after divorce, the income didn't change. But the expenses doubled. For others, the income itself collapsed. You were relying on your partner's job. Or child support didn't come through. Or maybe you left a career behind to raise kids and now you're being thrown back into the workforce without a net. It's scary. And it's real. You're not lazy, you're not failing. You're trying to build a new financial identity. Fast. So how do you do that when you feel like you're drowning? First, we anchor the chaos. Income stability doesn't mean get rich. It means your bills are paid, you're not spiraling, and you know what's coming in and when. Even if it's not enough, predictability lowers panic. Step 1. Map every source of income. Not just your job, everything. Child support, alimony, side gigs, government assistance, freelance work, odd jobs, write it all down. What's recurring? What's one time? You can't stabilize what you haven't counted. Step 2. Identify the gaps. Now compare your income to your baseline survival number from earlier. If you're coming up short, don't go into shame. This is data. It's a signal. It's telling you what needs attention. Not everything has to be solved today, but now you know where the pressure is coming from. Step 3. Plug the leaks, then expand. If you're still scrambling, your first move is to stop the bleeding. Cut expenses, freeze subscriptions, avoid debt traps, even if it's temporary. Then, start small with income boosts. Babysitting, food delivery, part-time weekend job, selling unused items, offering a skill online like design, tutoring, admin help. Is it ideal? No. But you're not trying to build your dream life this week. You're trying to breathe. Step 4. Play the long game quietly. While you stabilize, you plant seeds. Maybe it's a certification course. Maybe it's refreshing your resume. Maybe it's reaching out to someone about a job lead. You don't need to shout it, you just need to keep moving. Here's the truth. Income stability isn't just about money. It's about building trust with yourself again. That even when life collapses, you don't. You show up. You adjust. You learn to hold the wheel. That's financial recovery in real life. Money isn't just math after divorce. It's meaning. Every dollar you earn now doesn't just pay bills. It carries emotion, memory, identity. You're not just rebuilding income. You're rebuilding your worth in a world that told you, for years, your value was tied to someone else. And that can get messy. You might feel resentment. Why do I have to do this alone? Why didn't they have to start over too? You might feel shame. I should have figured this out by now. I wasted so much time. How did I not see this coming? You might feel exhausted, because even when you earn, it still doesn't feel like enough. Not just financially, emotionally. This is the part no one talks about, that after divorce, earning money can feel like grieving. You're not just chasing checks. You're confronting everything you gave up for the marriage, the family, the future that didn't happen. So if you find yourself crying in your car after work, if you feel rage when the paycheck lands and vanishes in 12 hours, if you feel invisible at your job because you're just going through motions to survive, you're not broken. You're in the middle of a redefinition. If this video is giving you clarity or helping you breathe easier, take a second to hit like and subscribe. This channel is built for people rebuilding their lives with honesty and grit. And you're part of that. Here's what to remember. First, earning doesn't have to feel good at first. It's okay if your job isn't fulfilling. It's okay if it feels like a grind. This isn't your forever life. It's your recovery bridge. You're building something, even if it's ugly right now. Second, you're allowed to mourn what you gave up. The career you paused, the dreams you shelved, the years spent supporting someone else's path. You don't have to pretend it's fine. You just have to let that grief exist without letting it define what comes next. Third, money now is about proof, not perfection. Every deposit, every small win, every bill paid on time is proof that you are not stuck. That even from heartbreak, you can create motion. That even from fear, you can rebuild ground. Here's the deeper truth. You're not just earning money, you're earning your own respect back. You're learning what it feels like to support yourself, emotionally and financially, without needing someone else to make you feel safe. And that is sacred. You've made it this far, you've looked at the bills, you've made the hard choices, you're stabilizing. But here's what no one warns you about. The fear doesn't vanish just because the numbers start to work. There's a strange moment in recovery, not when you're drowning, but when your head is just above water, where the terror creeps in again. Because now, the question shifts. Not, how do I survive this week? But, what if I can't make this work long term? What if I never catch up? What if this is all my life ever is now? You're no longer reacting, you're starting to look ahead. And that's its own kind of fear. This is normal. Your brain doesn't trust peace yet. Because peace means dreaming again. And dreaming, after what you've lost, feels dangerous. You might find yourself sabotaging, skipping the budget, spending on something impulsive, telling yourself it's pointless to try long term. But this isn't weakness, it's emotional protection. You're afraid to build again because the last time you built something, it fell apart. So how do you move forward without going numb? Lower the pressure. You don't have to know your 5-year plan, you just need to know next month's rent is covered. That is progress, Let safety come from action, not from outcome. You don't feel safe when the bank account hits a number. You feel safe when you know how to manage whatever's there. And you're learning that now. Don't force the vision. Let it reappear. You don't have to rush into purpose or passion or a new chapter. Let it emerge slowly. Your life isn't behind schedule. It's reconfiguring. Here's what matters. Fear doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're expanding. You're finally making room for a future again, and that's vulnerable work. But you've earned the right to look forward. Even if it's blurry. Even if it's slow. The point is, you're no longer just reacting. You're rebuilding. And soon, you'll realize you weren't just surviving divorce. You were becoming someone new. There's no ribbon-cutting moment. No clear day where the clouds part and you say, well, I did it. I recovered from divorce. It's quieter than that. It's you opening your banking app and not feeling dread. It's you saying no to something you can't afford and not feeling like a failure. It's you planning groceries without panic. It's you looking at your future and realizing it's yours now. That's what beginning again actually looks like. The financial side of divorce isn't a spreadsheet problem, it's a self-trust problem. Can you trust yourself to make decisions, to ask for help, to tell the truth about where you are without shame? Can you believe that your worth isn't determined by your income, that your intelligence isn't measured by your debt? Can you allow yourself to want more, not in a desperate, fix-it way, but in a grounded, peaceful way? That's the real rebuild. It's not about going back, it's about building forward from truth, not illusion. There will be months where it still feels hard, where something breaks, where you dip into savings, where you question if you're really making progress. That's part of it. Progress after divorce is not a straight line, it's a reclaiming process. You're not just trying to feel better, you're trying to become someone who no longer lives in fear of money. That's not just healing, that's liberation. So now, take a breath. You've already done the hardest part, facing what most people run from. Now you get to move, not with panic, but with power. Not with fantasy, but with clarity. And no matter how small it feels, every responsible step you take is you saying to the world, I'm not done. What's one financial decision you're ready to face without shame? Drop it in the comments. Your clarity might inspire someone else to begin again. This video is for educational and emotional insight only. It's not financial or legal advice. Please talk to a professional before making major decisions.